If life were a river, where would you say the treasure lies? Up against the current or wading downstream? Most people, without hesitation, will point upstream. We've been conditioned to believe that only what is difficult has worth, that anything easy must be a trick, a distraction, or somehow beneath us. We've been taught to admire the climb, the sweat, the fight, the endless uphill march. Ease, on the other hand, is suspicious. Ease is treated as laziness, struggle as virtue. We bow to the one who strains against the tide, yet dismiss the one who flows with it, forgetting that while we glorify resistance, the river itself continues forward without effort. But ask yourself honestly, why do we revere exhaustion more than alignment? Why glorify hardship when downstream requires no persuasion? It's almost as if we do not trust the universe, as if we imagine that if we let go, if we ease into its flow, we will somehow miss the very purpose of life. Yet here lies the paradox: the point cannot be missed because you are the point. That resistance is not strength but suffering. The more you demand life bend to your will, the more it drags you under. The harder you cling, the more you exhaust yourself. But the moment you loosen your grip, you discover the current was carrying you all along, not toward the destination your ego insisted upon, but toward where you were meant to be. We confuse control with security. We think that by tightening our hands on the wheel, by charting maps and making rules, we can master the flow. But life refuses to sit still for our diagrams. No matter how carefully you plan, the next twist surprises you. It is like commanding the wind which way to blow. The more you attempt to control, the more anxious you become, because the truth is, the river was never yours to dictate. Your intellect is brilliant. It can invent, it can measure, it can steer your canoe, but it cannot carve the valley. That course was already etched long before you arrived. The irony is that our insistence on control blinds us to the beauty already unfolding. We grow weary not because life is inherently hard, but because we insist it must match our blueprints. Yet the current does not need your permission. It was flowing before you, and it will flow long after you. And the astonishing revelation is this: you are not outside of it. You are already being carried. When you see that resistance is erosion, not resilience, even stone, with all its hardness, is worn down by the patient persistence of water. The rock resists, and by resisting, it slowly disappears. So it is with us. What feels like strength when we clench against life is in truth a slow disintegration. To yield is not weakness but wholeness, the art of being carried without breaking. The one who fights discovers how merciless the current can be, while the one who yields finds himself moving forward with almost no effort at all. To let go is not to do nothing, but to realize that most of life is already happening without your strain. Breath flows without your command, the heart beats without your permission, seasons turn, the earth spins, the tide rises, all without the burden of your control. The universe does not need you to grip. It needs you to trust, and here lies the misunderstood word: surrender. We think of it as defeat, as waving a white flag. But in truth, surrender in life means to trust the current, to let the strength of the river become your own. Anyone can tighten their jaw and paddle with fury, because struggle looks like control. But it is a deeper courage to open your hands, to unclench, to allow yourself to be carried. This is not passivity. It is participation in the deeper intelligence that holds you. Faith, then, is not naive optimism but a daring vision, that even without knowing every turn ahead, the river's direction is trustworthy. When you realize the difference between fear-driven effort and flow-driven effort, the world tells us that the harder we grind, the more life will reward us. And yes, discipline and effort matter. But look around. How many people achieve success only to find themselves empty, burned out, anxious? They traded peace for an illusion of arrival, always chasing the next summit, yet never arriving home. The problem is not effort itself, but the energy that fuels it. Fear-driven effort whispers, if I stop, I will fall behind. Flow-driven effort says, I align with what I love. That is why some of the most joyful people are not the ones working the hardest. but those who move in rhythm with what lights them up. Watch a bird gliding on the wind. Watch a surfer caught by the wave. Both exert themselves, but their movement looks effortless because it is aligned with the current. That is true work. That is true achievement. Not frantic paddling against the stream, but the graceful art of joining with it. So perhaps the right question is not how hard must I struggle, but am I in harmony with the current? For without harmony, effort becomes self-punishment. But in rhythm, work transforms into play, which arises when the mind's restless chatter grows quiet. The ego, forever narrating and scheming, thrives on struggle because struggle makes it feel important. It builds castles of anxiety and demands you live inside them. And yet beneath all that racket, life is humming along quite smoothly. The current flows whether you panic or not. Call it God, call it the Tao. Call it the dance of existence. A deeper intelligence is at work, one that never required your interference. Haven't you noticed, the moment you stop brooding over a problem, a solution appears. The moment you step away, the knot untangles itself. The less you force the music, the more you realize you are part of the symphony all along. Gratitude is born from noticing what is already working, the breath you didn't earn, the heartbeat you don't control, the countless small mercies that arrive without your request. When your eyes shift to see these, life feels lighter, not through control, but through confidence in the flow. And then the delightful truth reveals itself. Life was never a puzzle to solve, but a dance to join. The swimmer and the river were never separate. You were never lost. You were always home, carried in the flow. And so the treasure is not hidden upstream nor waiting downstream. It is here, in the recognition that you were never apart from the current in the first place. To surrender is not to be defeated, but to awaken. To realize that loosening your grip is not falling into chaos, but discovering you are already being held. Life is not a battle to win, but a play to join. Not something to conquer, but something to understand as your own movement. And if passion stirs in you, if a calling tugs at your heart, follow it. Not by grinding yourself into exhaustion, not by forcing against the tide, but by flowing with the pull already written within you. For faith in the current is the swiftest, surest way. It will carry you with more certainty, more grace, and more peace than struggle ever could. So here is the choice before you. You can keep exhausting yourself, paddling furiously against the tide, convincing yourself that life only rewards suffering. Or you can release the grip, open your hands, and discover that the very thing you've been chasing was carrying you all along. The current is not your enemy, it is your ally. The struggle is not a badge of honor, it is a refusal to trust. Life has never asked you to fight it, it has only ever asked you to flow with it. So stop postponing your peace. Stop waiting until the next achievement, the next mountain, the next approval. You are already in the river, already held, already carried. Trust it, lean into it, flow with it. The treasure is not hidden upstream, nor locked away for the worthy few. It is here in this moment, in the surrender that frees you. Let go because the current knows the way.